So Oxford was all about patient, all about consumers. Now, at Revolution Health now, which is we're going to turn from the big success to something that you call borderline success. At Revolution Health, what exactly was difficult to figure out? Since as you said, you're trying to figure out who you work with, your audience. So what was it at Revolution Health that didn't actually lead to that success?
Well, Revolution was, so do you guys all know Revolution? Or have heard of it?
You can just, yeah.
All right, so Revolution Health was Steve Case, about 4 or 5 years ago, after sitting on the sidelines for a couple of years after the AOL Time Warner episodes, decided to get back into business, and he took on health. Despite, he flew to multiple people and they all said, don't touch it. He went to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said, you gotta be kidding me. He went to a whole group of people, they all said, you gotta be kidding. But Steve really wanted to, in his mind, he really, when he started, wanted to take on the biggest thing, right? This was my way of getting back in the game. And to that I give him credit. The reality, though, is that Steve, and I see this in a lot of people, there are people who want to make money or do different things in the business. There are those who aren't in the business. There are those who have a dinner table affection to health versus it's my spirit and my passion and it's everything I live for. And you can see right through that in the course of a discussion with people. And I would offer that Steve wanted to build a media business in health. And as I tell my friends at Everyday Health, you ain't in the business of health, you're in the media business. Let's just be clear. When you attend TEDMed, it's a joke. You're not, and TEDMed, by the way, is a joke on some level, but that's a different story. You're not in the health space. You're in the media space. It's cute. You're in the business of parroting on hypochondriacs who are looking up things and trying to sell media space. Because anybody who actually has the condition ain't going to you, nor are they going to WebMD. And nobody, by the way, bookmarks WebMD, and they don't bookmark Everyday Health, they Google. And health is a long tail. And what they Google is the long tail. They go way deep down. And nobody's ever going to figure out on a consumer website how to monetize the long tail, because you can't possibly get enough traffic to pay for the search to get you there. Okay? So the problem at Revolution Health is that Steve had this attitude, and this was kind of in our little write-up of this. Steve had this attitude of it was taking on everything. We're going to go after every piece of the healthcare system. Well, one of the funny moments was actually in a board meeting where one of the really great guys on the board, who's a genius, and I won't tell you guys who he is, but this guy is really special. He looked up and said, "What did you expect? You named it Revolution. You announced that the system was fundamentally broken and you were going to change it. You said you were going to spend nearly $1 billion of your own money to take it on. And you put this illustrious board together." Well, those are 4 fundamental things that startups don't do. Okay? Start quiet. Become everybody's friend. Healthcare is a network where, don't walk in and flip the bird to United and tell them they don't know what they're doing and you've got the idea. They'll squash you in a nanosecond whenever they want to. Or worse, they'll make your life miserable. They'll buy you. Because when they buy you, they will crush you and kill you and annihilate you and destroy you, and your life will be miserable and your burnout will be nothing. Okay? They can do whatever they like to you, right? So you don't, those are like the 4 things. So that was very funny that Revolution, kind of big name, big board, lots of money, everything, and take on everything. Well, invading healthcare is a little like invading China. Nobody wins. You just end up a colony, right? It's a massive, confusing, complex set of things. Name an entity that's come along in health in the past 10 years that has literally transformed everything that's going on, or any major element of the healthcare system. We have entities that have done carve-out things. Look at the disease management companies. They were telling every health plan that, you don't know what you're doing. We need to specialize on these, and we can do wellness never sells anyway. There's another little lesson for you. Anybody trying to build a wellness business? Doesn't sell. You know, I learned in 1985, I was stressed out on the beach in Avalon, New Jersey. I created a thing called Healthy Mind, Healthy Body. It still exists in the United Healthcare. I created it for myself because I was stressed out. And I realized that when we offered a gym discount, all we were doing was offering a discount to the same 20 people in the company who were already going, and now further subsidizing them. We didn't get a 21st through 30th person to join. Then I laughed when Aetna implemented a program that had like stamping on the thing to check that people were actually going to the gym, but they forgot about little places called like the East Bank Club in Chicago that has 3 bars on the second floor. So people were going in and checking they were going, and what they were actually doing is going clubbing and picking up guys or girls and going home, right? Well, that was a whole new form of, geez, they were getting paid by the health plan for that. I was like, geez, maybe we should market it more, that's a better way to market it. So Revolution's issue was trying to boil the ocean and not really clear it. At the end of the day, what Revolution really was a consumer media site. Now, here's the interesting part of Revolution, because everybody says Revolution didn't do well, Steve Case spent $200 million, blah, blah, blah. Revolution Health actually, while it was Revolution Health before it merged with Everyday Health, was the largest. It had actually surpassed WebMD in terms of traffic. That traffic is all now with Everyday Health, Waterfront Media, and is the largest media play, if you will, in the consumer lookup space, if you will. That which after you get to Google, you go to, you find Everyday Health. I'm going to call it that way. But the more interesting thing is some of the businesses that came aside of it. My technology team one Saturday came in and said, we have to quit. And they explained what they were working on, which was called Virtual Bookshelf. You know it today as Living Social. So Living Social was one of the investments that came out of that. And just yesterday, or today, I'm not even sure if it was this morning or yesterday, Extend Benefits, Extend Health, which was, and this is a really good example for you guys as entrepreneurs. A couple guys spin out of eHealth, recognizing that eHealth is selling a business that is a search-based business trying to sell insurance benefits, missing the point of human touch and the complexity of the healthcare space, goes into the Medicare space, reads the regulations, sees that fundamentally the Chryslers of the world are punting on their promise that they made to all of their retirees, builds a business where they convert those who have punted on their promise to shift it over to a government pay. They take the liability, they turn it into an asset, basically. They turn it into each employee getting a certain amount of money. Extend Benefits becomes a broker who gets paid not by Chrysler, but by each of the health plans as they turn to each health plan and say, I got 300,000 people that are going to be losing their retiree benefit and looking for Medicare. I'm going to sell them Medicare. Do you want to play? And you're going to give me $400 a head, right? Became the largest provider of Medicare benefits and just sold for $450 million 3 years later to, was it Towers or one of the consultant houses, right? Reading the regs, understanding who's going to get hurt, understanding where the opportunity was, building a business around it, like it met all those criteria. So Revolution, the dream was revolutionize the healthcare system. Parse it into it from an investment perspective, looks pretty nice, but the healthcare system hasn't changed. We're still fighting our way through.